Roman had been dying. The memory of that night flickered through his consciousness like a broken hologram the colony raid. The plasma fire that had torn through his chest, the cold deck plating beneath his cheek as his blood pooled around him. The USS Herald had been humanity's furthest outpost in the outer reaches, and the Krell had reduced it to burning wreckage in minutes. He should have died there. Instead, he woke 3 days later in a chamber carved from obsidian, lit by bioluminescent crystals that pulsed like heartbeats, and she was there, Autumn, the vampire queen of the Nocturnus clan, watching him with eyes that held galaxies of ancient knowledge. "You're awake," she had said, her voice like silk over steel. "Good, the transformation is complete." That had been 6 months ago. Now, Roman stood in the shadows of the Crimson Citadel's Grand Hall, trying to ignore the weight of 1,000 hostile stares. The Council of Clans had convened, and the air crackled with barely contained violence. "This is an abomination." Lord Cain of the Shadowburn clan slammed his fist on the marble table, his fangs extending in rage. A human has been turned by the Queen herself. It violates every law we've held sacred for 10,000 years. Autumn sat upon her throne of twisted starship metal and ancient stone, completely unmoved. She wore her authority like armor, her silver hair cascading over shoulders draped in a cloak that seemed woven from midnight itself. Roman had learned that she was over 3 millennia old, had seen empires rise and fall, had negotiated the truce that kept vampires hidden from the galaxy's major powers, and she had chosen to save him. "Laws can be changed," Autumn said coolly. "I am the Queen. That is my prerogative. You overstep, Autumn." Lady Vesper of the Blood Moon clan rose, her crimson gown trailing like liquid rubies. "The human disease, their weakness, their emotions, their chaos, it cannot be allowed into our bloodlines. He must be executed, and you must answer for this transgression." Roman's hand instinctively moved to the phase blade at his hip. The weapon was human-made, a remnant of his old life that Autumn had allowed him to keep. Around him, vampire warriors tensed. They could smell his nervousness, his lingering humanity. Even transformed, even with their strength and speed flowing through his veins, he was different. "I will answer for nothing." Autumn's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper that somehow filled the entire hall. "Roman died serving his species with honor. The Krell would have claimed him. I claimed him first. By ancient right. He is mine. He is an insult." Another voice rang out, Lord Draven of the Eclipse clan, his eyes glowing with fury. "Humans are prey, sustenance, pawns in the great game. They are not worthy of the gift." Roman felt something snap inside him. 6 months of sidelong glances, of whispered insults, of being treated like a contamination, it all bubbled to the surface. He stepped forward from the shadows, and the entire council fell silent. "With respect, Lord Draven," Roman said, his voice steady despite the pounding of his still-beating heart, a heart that now pumped enhanced blood through superhuman veins. "You don't know a damn thing about humanity." The gasps that rippled through the hall would have been comical under different circumstances. Autumn's lips quirked in the smallest smile, though her eyes flashed a warning. "Be careful. You dare," Draven began. "I dare, because I have nothing left to lose," Roman interrupted, walking toward the center of the hall. "Your kind has hidden in the dark for millennia, feeding on the edges of civilization, convinced of your superiority. But humans, we went from caves to starships in 10,000 years. We've colonized hostile worlds, survived extinction-level events, fought wars against enemies that should have wiped us out." He turned slowly, meeting the eyes of the council members one by one. Some looked away, others glared with open hatred. "The Krell raided our colony because we had discovered something, a new form of quantum drive that would let us cross the galaxy in weeks instead of years. They wanted to stop us before we became too powerful. But we didn't stop. We never stop. That's what humans do. We endure, we adapt, we survive." Touching speech, Lord Cain sneered. "It changes nothing. You are a half-breed, an insult to our purity. The law is clear, the law is old." Autumn stood, and power radiated from her like gravity from a black hole. Every vampire in the hall felt it, pressing down on them with the weight of ages. "Old like me. And I say, it is time for change." She descended from her throne, each step echoing like a drumbeat. When she reached Roman's side, She placed one pale hand on his shoulder, a gesture of ownership, of protection, of something more complex than either. Roman carries my blood now. Autumn continued. My power flows through him. But he also carries something else, something we lost long ago. Hope, ambition, the audacity to dream of tomorrow. She smiled, sharp and dangerous. The very things that make humans terrifying. This council has one choice before it. Autumn's voice rang with finality. Accept that the galaxy is changing, that we must change with it, or cling to ancient prejudices and fade into irrelevance. Roman is the first. He will not be the last. Humanity is expanding into the stars, and we can either forge an alliance with them or be swept aside. The hall erupted into chaos, shouting, accusations, threats of secession from the council. But Roman noticed something else. A few vampires, younger ones mostly, watching him with something that might have been curiosity rather than hatred. Autumn noticed too. She always noticed everything. Lord Kane rose, his face twisted with rage. This is not over, Autumn. You may be queen, but even you cannot defy all of us. By the next full moon, we will have our vote. And if the council decrees it, Roman dies and you will be removed from your throne. So be it. Autumn said calmly. Let the vote be called. We have 1 month to change minds. She looked at Roman, and for just a moment, her mask slipped, revealing something ancient and sad and determined. 1 month to prove that humanity deserves a place among the stars. As the council dissolved into bitter arguments and the various clans began to depart, Roman stood beside the vampire queen who had saved his life and wondered if he'd only traded one death for another. But then he remembered his crew on the Herald, remembered the human colony that had been destroyed, remembered every person who'd ever told him that humans didn't belong in the deep dark. 1 month to prove them wrong. 1 month to show them what humanity was really made of. He could work with that.